It's time for more coaching and coffee talk. Today, my guest is Janet Gelman. Janet is a Masters Olympic weightlifter. She recently won 3 gold medals and set a national record at Masters Nationals. She's also won silver medals from the World Masters Weightlifting Championships and the Pan Am Weightlifting Championships. Janet, welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here
Good
today.
morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And well, this is the first time we've talked face-to-face, but we met online at the Iron Force Athletics online training platform.
Yes.
And I'm slowly working my way through the Iron Force Athletic athletes on my podcast because I love all you guys so much.
It's great.
And back then, were you mainly doing CrossFit?
I was just doing CrossFit.
Okay, yeah. So this, if people don't know, this was an online training, and it was really kind of a strength bias, right? Where people were looking to get strong. Funnily enough, everybody was probably really strong already in that group, but they actually got a whole lot stronger under the guise of Mike Cassavant. But that was so much fun, that group. It was such a great group of people, and we had so much fun posting our videos of the workouts and commenting on it and all this kind of stuff. So, and when was that? Was that 2000? I can't think when that was. 15 or 16 or
something like that. It was a while ago. Yeah.
And back then you were mostly doing CrossFit, and you did very well as a Masters CrossFit athlete too, right?
I did pretty well, because I was usually the oldest, one of the older people there, and if it was partners, that you worked with, it was usually my daughter or my daughter's friend, that I was with. So, yeah.
And what talk about the transition into weightlifting? What were you just like, did you just try it and be like, hey, I'm good at this, or how did it happen?
I actually had one of the coaches at the CrossFit place I was at approach me and say, hey, are you interested in doing any Masters weightlifting? I said, sure. I mean, we're doing those moves. Of course, now we know they're completely different from CrossFit to weightlifting. They're like whole new moves. And I said, sure, I'll try it. So we did a meet. It was in August of 2016 was my first meet. And I did well and qualified for states. And I went to states. I didn't do well there. I bent my arm on my lip, so it didn't count, if it's not well. But that was my very first time. And so I just started training. I still did CrossFit at that time, but I started training in weightlifting at that time. And then I eventually dropped the CrossFit and stayed with weightlifting.
And did you join like a weightlifting club?
I did actually. The first place I was, he owns a CrossFit gym, but he has a separate weightlifting club within. So cool. I did do that. And then, and where I'm presently at also, he's strictly a weightlifting club. We're at in the back of a CrossFit gym, but he has his own area.
And what's the name of the club that you're with now? Just so we see.
I am with No Respect for Gravity.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I saw that.
Yeah.
That is cool. And
yes.
Do you mind if I asked how old you are? I mean, in weightlifting, it becomes a positive thing. Right? I'm getting older.
I'm getting older. Yes, yeah. These 35-year-old kids. Come on. No, I'm 66 this year, and there's some gals who are 70. In the early 70s, still doing this. The guys are beating us in that because there's some 80-year-old fellas who are just adorable. But yeah,
I think that's so awesome. I've only done one weightlifting meet. I did a Danish nationals one year, and it's such a cool community. Because everybody just supports each other, and like you said, there's some of these people that are quite old and have done it for so many years, and and every time they lift, they're like setting a national record.
They are, or it's like, oh, is he okay? Yeah. Yeah.
But what was some of your favorite moments at meets? I suppose it's different being at the state competitions or going onto the international stage or something.
The internationals are fun. Like in 2018, I got to go to Barcelona for Worlds. Wow. So that was, let's see, behind me is looking there. That was an amazing trip. And it was just a lot of fun meeting. That was my first, like, leave the country even trip in my life. And it was just great meeting all the people from all over, the countries. And I still, on Facebook and stuff, I still am in contact with some of the lifters that I met from there. So that was fun. And then we had, in 2019, I think it was, Masters was in Montreal. So that was really very nice too. Yes, just a nice group of people, and yeah.
And what does your training look like? Is it, I mean, as you get older, is it modifying? Are you training less often or shorter sessions? Or what does it look like these days?
Yeah, me personally, I'm lucky. Because I was a gymnast, I think, and I've always been active my whole life. Knock on wood, I don't have any wood here. I haven't had any injuries. I'm still very limber. So it's just my warm-ups need to be a little longer, to get everything warmed up. But I'm training 5-6 days a week, hour and a half to 2 hours sometimes, So, again, knock on wood, everything's fine right now. But,
and is it always Olympic? Is there always Olympic lift techniques in your training, or are you trying to build strength as well? Or?
It's both. Right now, we're kind of on a strength program right now, but there's always the form and the technique we're working on. This, we're always doing snatch or clean and jerk or pulls or whatever it takes to make it a better lift. Yes.
Yeah. And when you're deadlifting, you're keeping those arms very straight, right?
Yes.
I'm saying that because of my yeah. I have also been relatively injury free in my life, but yeah. As we talked about, I did something very stupid the other day and I thought I've never shied away from lifting heavy deadlifts. I've always done heavy deadlifts. In fact, even after my heart attack a year and a half ago, I did a partial deadlift, which is what I did yesterday, with 300 kilos, a partial deadlift. So I never think I'm going to hurt myself when I lift something. But I had that, I had about that much bend in my arm because it was an odd object that I was lifting foolishly. The bicep, got tense and pop. I heard it. Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And you said your husband had to.
My husband had this in January. He's been doing jujitsu, and he had just finished a competition he had done, and he felt a little pull, but we all have that. Yeah. And he was just training, and he reached for the gi, and everyone heard the snap. So, yeah, it was like snap. So, so he went in, but he had like major, they found everything else in there too. So he had a slight, tear. His labrum was completely torn.
Oh, yeah, so his was up.
He was major. Okay, it was his bicep was what started it. And when they went in, they saw, and did the x-rays and everything
other
else.
Stuff.
They saw the other damage through the years, I'm sure.
Yeah, so. Well, I have that in the morning, so we'll see what they.
Good luck. They may find other stuff.
Yeah. So what's up next for you? Is it Worlds next, or?
Well, we just did Worlds.
Oh, you just did the Worlds. That's right.
Yeah. Worlds online, which was interesting for everybody because we had to do it by Zoom.
That's right. What was that setup like? Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it went fairly smoothly, but it's wherever you are, wherever you're going to do it, you set up your, laptop and stuff. And there was a Zoom code, a link to get in. I think it was out of Greece. And we all had our time zones to lift, and they did it just like a meet. It went faster because you don't have, your sit down time and kind of stuff. But you did your 3 lifts, because there's 3 snatch and 3 clean and jerk, and whoever, is next. And then they have judges from the other countries also were there. They had 3 judges. And so it's kind of like being there, but it was different.
So you had judges locally, or were they judging over Zoom?
No, they were international. They had to be, because it was an international meet. They have international judges. So they actually, I think there was a judge from Germany. There might have been one from Netherlands. I don't recall, but they had 3 judges from other countries, and so they're watching also. So everybody's linked in. It was like bizarre. Yeah, and
were you able to? Where did you lift locally? Was the gym open?
Where I trained.
Was the lockdown lifted at that point?
Our lockdown is over with here in Florida. Some states are still locked down, or most are partially opening or fully open. We're pretty much fully opened here. So, right, because that was a problem for a lot of people. But we were the only ones there. There were like 3 people there because it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. Or 11, 9 o'clock weigh in, and then so we did, everything was just the same. So so I was where I work out, and we set up a special platform, and we had the laptop where it needed to be, and the other, you have your cell phone so you can talk to the administrator and everybody. I was like, it went well, thank goodness, but it was kind of weird.
And then did you even have a podium you could get up on afterwards?
No.
Robbed.
Dang, yeah, because you really didn't know until almost 24, 48 hours later. So, while they calculate and do everything.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah.
And what about your training? Like when there was lockdown periods due to coronavirus, were you was your gym open, or did you train at home, or
during
how did you modify?
During the main, it was not open, and then they had a small opening, and we wore masks and stuff like that. But I happen to have my garage is fully set up, so I have a platform in my garage, and I have weights, and I have so I trained at home. Through most of it, especially before the vaccine was out. I mostly, 90% trained at home till he actually reopened. And then, of course, I've had my vaccine. So, most people here have in our group. So, so I don't have an excuse not to work out.
And do you also train in your garage gym, like during like supplementally during the season, or you do most everything with your coach there?
Most is with my coach, so he can yell at me if my form's bad and stuff like that. But otherwise, I still do here. We've got the assault bike, and my husband got me the rower for my birthday this year. Yay! So I have no excuse not to be using that stuff on off time.
So you're still staying in some CrossFit shape, even though you're focusing on.
Yes, I still love CrossFit. I joke when I watch the classes sometimes, I kind of miss it. Sometimes I don't. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I jumped into a class, and boy, was I sorry. But what was I thinking? But I really enjoyed that also, because talk about crazy friends and the community and stuff.
It's such a great community.
Yeah.
So does that mean that the next thing is the Pan Am?
Pan Am's is next. That's August 5th, I think, in Orlando, because they've reopened. They've reopened. Pan Am's, and I forget what continent, because I'm not good with my geography. So people will fly in for that.
Okay.
And again, with more states opening, there'll be more people from out of town coming to that. So that's August. trying to think what's after that.
And what about, but is Pan Am's in a different spot every year? Or is it always
normally it is, yes. It could be in a different country.
Different country.
I'm guessing. I didn't go to that one, but I think it was in Puerto Rico once, and it might have been in a whole nother country some years before that. Yeah. So
and when you're looking at Pan Am's, are you keeping your eye on? Do you know who your competition is? Or are you keeping your eye on your peers in that age group and weight group, or do you try to not focus on it?
I try to not focus on that. It's usually the same people, you know. Pan Am's, I'm not sure. It's probably somebody. Yeah, I don't know who it would be. I'll have to look back to who it was before. I'm right now really focusing on just bringing my numbers up, because for a while I felt like I was like stuck, you know, at a certain level. And so, I'm just doing me. And if I do well, that's plus, you know, so.
And have you developed any kind of rivalries with other lifters throughout the world? Do you think, okay, I really want to beat her, or are you above all that? I know I would be that. I know I would be that way.
I do joke with a fellow American who's the next weight class above me, because her numbers are like skyrocket, and she's my age. She's been doing it longer than I have too. But I joke with her, I'm never gonna go into that weight class because I'll never win. You know, I always say that. I forget it. I'm not gonna do it. So we joke about that. I have to stay where I am.
Actually, the one time that I did the that weightlifting meet, I thought I was gonna go in at a higher weight class, you know, but when I got weighed in that day, I actually dropped down. And if I would have been in the other weight class, I actually would have gotten a gold medal because there was no one else in that weight class.
Exactly. Those are golden. Those are golden. Yeah, it's like, go quick, go eat something to gain some weight. Yeah, weigh in again.
And do you have to worry about making your weight class at all, or are you just naturally?
I'm usually 3 pounds within, but there's been times where I have 1 pound I can't get rid of. It's probably my age, but it's 1 pound I have to get down to at least make the, you know, the highest level I can be at, like 130 pounds. I can't be more than that, and I'll be 131, and it's not moving anywhere. It's like, so.
And what have you tried to drop that pound the day of a competition?
I actually for Worlds, I was like a 0.5 over. So I first time in my life. Usually I'm like 2-3 pounds under at weigh-in, just because of nerves and stuff like that. So this time I had to do the spit thing. I don't know. It's disgusting, but it worked. I didn't think it would work day off, but it worked.
I remember that was some guys I knew that were wrestlers in high school. I mean, it's so horrible to think about it now, but a lot of the wrestlers in high school are like doing ridiculous things to cut weight.
Yeah,
I mean, it's such a crime, actually.
It is. Yeah, they all have, it's like anorexia for them. No, my brother was a wrestler. He never had to do that, but I have actually a classmate to this day, and we're talking a long time since high school, who still has problems because of what he did to lose weight for wrestling. Yeah.
And do you have kids also?
I have two children. They're not children anymore. I have,
I have two adults.
Two adults. Well, they think they're adults. Yeah. I have a son in California, and my daughter actually lives near. She's a teacher. Actually, it's her last day today, teaching elementary K and first grader ESE students. And then my son is up in California. He works at a restaurant for years. He's been there for years. Yeah.
And did they follow in your athletic footsteps, or did you try to? I mean, were they gymnasts?
I tried. My son did some karate through the years, but he didn't continue anything else on that. My daughter actually went to CrossFit class yesterday. She gets it in every once in a while.
Oh, that's
she
cool.
used to do the CrossFit competitions, and then she got too busy, and with school and everything else. So she's going to get back into that, but she's pretty much still done bits and pieces through the years.
Yeah, it's just funny as a personal trainer and a health coach. I got 3 small kids still. My son is 9 and my daughters are 10 and 12. And I can't get him to do anything athletic. I don't know if it's just like not cool because dad does it, I think I probably felt that way when I was a kid. I was probably not going to be like, if my parents played tennis and golf, and I was not probably going to go hang out with them and play tennis and golf.
Right. No, I'm not doing that.
But I'm always like, hey, how about we do some workout together? Actually, my son and I are training now together because he's so into virtual reality.
Oh,
I mean, it's so crazy with the virtual reality. He's just got this thing over his eyes, and he can just play and play and play. And so now we have a deal because we said to him, well, you have to do some kind of sport or something if you're going to be this into, so take care of your body. And he didn't want to do any sport. And I said, okay, then I'm going to train you 3 times a week. And he's actually been into it. Yeah. So he's doing little, basically CrossFit. Actually, he's doing little circuits and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah. But my husband actually is doing he did the virtual for physical therapy. You might get that yourself for physical therapy. Yeah, he really enjoyed it. He wants,
Oh, that's so cool that they do that. Yeah, because I'm wondering because was it the Oculus?
Now he's not near me. I'm not sure what it was. He wants to get it actually because he enjoyed it so much. But it was like boxing. It was towards the end of his physical therapy where it was his physical therapy. Okay. Yeah, they had it there.
Oh, he had it there. Okay. Wow, that's so cool because I'm really interested in what kind of things develop out of it because the gaming really is just well, I've never been into computer games, but that kind of stuff,
but
those
that
kind of applications is really cool.
Yeah. I guess they have like whitewater rafting and all sorts of stuff on the virtual.
I mean, I guess you could do online clients that way too, and some kind of that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Or weightlifting, maybe you can you can weightlift with the VR thing on your head. That wouldn't be distracting.
I'm not really lifting anything.
You can decide, I want a certain Russian coach from 1932. And bring him, okay, Janet, here we go. Who knows? It's so crazy.
Crazy.
Let me see. What else was I going to talk to you about? What kind of goals do you have do you have any goals for your weightlifting career? Like, I want to do this, or, a certain weight snatch, a certain weight clean and jerk, or you seem like you're so well balanced and kind of well adjusted. I'm such a psycho, competitive psycho. I'd be like, I want this certain snatch, so help me God.
Yeah. I sometimes I think that's the difference between CrossFit and weightlifting, because that's how I was with weightlifting. With CrossFit, it's like so exciting. So you're like, and then the weightlifting is kind of well, so you go through the WOD or whatever, and you're all hyped and everything. And weightlifting is you go out there, you do your snatch. Okay, go sit down. It's like,
it's much more meditative.
Like bizarre.
Isn't it?
It's really hard to switch that off because you're like, and no, that's not what that is. But I'm kind of doing it for fun. I mean, definitely for physical, but it's just fun for me. But this year for sure, my goal is to maybe I can break the snatch record. I just broke the clean and jerk record for which people have lifted heavier than that, at other weight classes and times. But so I just want to, kind of bring my numbers up because I feel I should be able to do that and am capable of doing that. So that's just kind of, working on my strength and confidence because most of it's in my head.
Yeah. And how long do you have any? a set time in your head of how long you're going to keep going as you look forward?
These guys are in their 80s, so who knows?
You're in it for the long haul.
I mean, I figure for sure I could, if I continue, you know, and no major injuries, I could see it at 70. I'm 66 already, so 70 maybe. Who knows? I'll just keep doing it till I don't like it anymore or can't do it anymore, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I've always been physical. Just from the time I'm 3, you know, I used to dance. I did gymnastics competitively. And then through the years, I did triathlons for a while, which I really loved. Yeah. I may go back to that one day. I really loved it. I don't like running, but I enjoyed the whole rest of it. I did some half marathons, not enjoyed, but did it, you know, charity, you know, that stuff, but kind of got into that. So I'm definitely going to always be doing something, you know, physical. Yeah. I mean, it's healthy. It's good for us. Keeps the joints oiled and, you know, moving. Yeah.
And what would you advise if someone your age is watching this and thinking, there's no way I could do that? How would you advise someone to start?
Just get started. Just start, you know, if there's no physical activity, start walking, just start lifting, just do body weight exercises. You know, you can do it. I mean, it's never too late to start. There's always, you know, going up. Yeah.
And because one thing I found about weightlifting with weightlifters too, that certainly you never see in a regular gym, because I have like this regular Globo gym background, you know, I was a personal trainer, and nobody gives anybody advice or anything. And it's kind of like you're on guard and people are checking each other out. What's going on here? And when I first started at a butcher's lab here in Copenhagen, and I went to the weightlifting platform, and I was working on cleans, which at that point was like a reverse curl. It was like the classic, the bar coming way out of my body, curling back. And next to me was a weightlifter that had, he's done very well in the past in Danish national weightlifting. And he just walks right over and starts coaching you, you know, and it's like, it was so foreign to me, you know, that kind of like camaraderie and openness too. And not in a patronizing way, you know what I mean? Like he really wanted to just help you. And it's so interesting, because I think a lot of people, like if people are sitting here and if there's a woman your age watching this, she probably would feel very intimidated going into that environment. But the truth is, people are so helpful, right? I mean, it's always been my experience. And even the really talented weightlifters are totally open to helping you out. And they'll probably offer it too. Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
It's really quite an amazing community like that. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. I just want to wish you good luck at the Pan Am Championships.
Thank you.
I'll be following you on Instagram, and I'll put we'll publish this podcast on Friday, and I'll put a little link to your Instagram if people want to follow you and see how you do coming up in these championships. But it was so nice to talk to you face to face. For real, nice to and meet you and your husband there for a little bit.
You guys have so much in common between your shoulder, the bicep, and the heart, because he's.
Oh, that's right.
He had open heart surgery like 5 years ago. He had a triple bypass.
Oh man, we should really.
He didn't have an actual heart attack like you did.
No, but we should really have a conversation. Because I was doing a little research about the bicep tear, and the first thing they say is happens mostly with middle-aged men that are trying to lift something too heavy. I was like, oh no, am I it really? Really?
That's fine. Yeah. I'm in that statistic.
I said, I was, my friend, when I was doing this moving thing, where I heard it, and his mother was there, and she's 75, and I turned to her and I said, we're supposed to be wiser as we get older, right?
Yes.
Is that how it works? She's like, yeah, that's supposed to be how it works.
Yeah.
Well, stay safe with your lifts,
Thank you.
Janet,
You too.
and I'll be pulling for you at the Pan Am
Thank you.
Championships. And thank you so much for doing this today. It
Thank
was
you so
a lot
much.
of fun.
Good luck with your surgery.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.